You might enjoy seeing the latest of these videos, but I very much enjoy looking back to a year ago and being reminded very vividly of a very different snapshot of my life, and also at my predictions for the year ahead, having now lived through that year. This was my prediction about 2024, which I made at the end of 2023. I always make a plan for it in these analysis videos that I almost immediately discard right away. With that in mind, rather ominously, my plan for 2024 is to have an easy life. Why is this prediction so amusing? You'll just have to watch on to find out. So last year's version of this video was released on the 4th of January 2024, which was actually very fast for a 24-minute video analysis. I really got off to a good start with the year, with the plan being to create large and weekly 2 kliksphilip projects, with the first being Ready or Not, which I managed to make several videos from. But as always, plans quickly changed and 2024 soon became a year like no other, so this is meant to be a Klik Empire analysis video, but I need to give you a brief lowdown of my personal life to make sense of stuff. In 2023, I got married, and to celebrate, here's some footage from the professional videographer I insisted on having because, for some reason, I'm a big believer that videos can tell a much better story than photos can. This is actually the most entertaining wedding video ever, and I am actually very proud of it. However, the marriage wasn't so successful and it immediately fell apart. Throughout the whole of 2024, I was going through divorce and went on many dates with a lot of interesting and often terrifying women, and my YouTubing rather understandably took a back seat. Was 2024 a great year? Yes. Was it a terrible year? Yes. It's complicated. It's been an interesting year, which in a way makes it one of the best years of my life. Just like a great movie about terrible things happening, there's a certain thrill to enduring and from getting through said experiences. And weirdly, I've kind of missed the ups and downs now that my life has returned more to normal. But I wouldn't want to go through it all again. I need to point out just how much good there has been. Just because I mentioned divorce, just because I make dark and twisted jokes about it, I've had many good memories and years with the person I eventually married and then divorced, and I will treasure those things forever. I'm sad it's over, but I'm happy to have experienced it. And I grew a lot as a person. In this last year, I have met people who have shown me how much better suited some other people are for me. But I've also met some people who have utterly shifted my perspective on how terrible and undateable some people out there really are. And at times, I've actually been very grateful that I married the person I did instead, even though that was also deeply regrettable and a huge mistake. But it could have been far, far, far worse. My adventures in 2024 have made me a lot more grounded, a lot more experienced, a lot more confident in myself, and I feel like a full person now rather than just half of one. But I'd argue inside I feel I know less than ever. Every person I've encountered has been different, a whole new set of secrets and surprises. Some delightful, some not so much, but boy, do I have some great stories to tell now. And I would love for my 2024 to be an experience that everybody could go through, because after so many years of quite pleasant but quite dull living, I've gone through so many situations and emotions in this last year that many people will never get to experience in their lives. And that, in my opinion, makes my year kind of beautiful. In terms of the Klik Empire, I think my experiences in 2024 have manifested themselves as being sillier, more ridiculous and riskier content inside my videos. I mean, I've gone through my life terrified of making enemies and trying my best to please people, and it's all blown up in my face, both online and in reality, and there's something very freeing about all that. All that exists really is in the here and now and the soon to be, and the concept that we're sacrificing stuff in the short term to live comfortably in the long term is but a mirage we fantasize about to justify suffering right now. Forget about the long term, focus on the here and now, plus that's all you really have control over anyway. I may or may not talk about this in another video sometime, but it doesn't feel right to do it right now. So please respect my privacy and don't try to speculate about the situation. Obviously, I feel like I'm the good guy in all of this, and so do my friends and family, but with something like divorce, you looking in from the internet, you can't even begin to understand the situation, especially when one side has 1 million subscribers and the other person is very private. But in terms of this Klik Empire analysis, my personal life has been a very real and good excuse for me not making as much content as you might have wanted me to make on my YouTube channels this year. Before I show the figures, I feel like I have a good idea of how 2024 went. In past years, a week could be 5 to 7 days of solid YouTubing, but this year it felt more like 3 or 4 days. And the time that I did spend doing the YouTubing dragged, and projects took longer than usual to make. I got the impression that there were massive gaps between uploads, but actually looking at the numbers of videos that I made this year, it wasn't actually that bad. Sure, 3kliksphilip made fewer videos, but that's because 2023 saw the release of CS2 and the most exciting changes he could cover in a very long time, whereas 2024 was about the quietest year that Counter-Strike has ever had in terms of new content. Now 3kliksphilip was put on a sort of hold. 2kliksphilip actually made more videos than he did in 2023, but for some reason, when counting, I didn't choose to consider series like the Half-Life 2 Director's Commentary ones, or videos which I made into several, like that Ready or Not one that I released first thing in the year, because doing that just feels like cheating. And ironically, my personal life was so busy that I didn't have time to make videos for this more personal kliksphilip channel of mine. So this channel was kind of put on hold as well. So I think given what my life has been through, I kept the content coming quite well, ticking over, all things considered. But the figures don't lie, and it's now the moment you've all been waiting for, the Klik Empire analysis. Now, I'm not going to do a super in-depth anal this time. Instead, you're only going to get a glimpse of the anal, a mere whiff, because what I've got to show you won't leave a pleasant taste. Oh no! This is a look at every quarter since the start of 2015, being my first popular year on YouTube. Years ago, whenever I made an analysis video, my latest stats were always my best yet, and it probably looked like I was making those analysis videos simply to brag about them. But these days, every year yields worse performance than the one before, and I'm beginning to worry that you think I'm only making these videos for sympathy these days, because there's not a lot of positive stuff to talk about. But I'm not seeking sympathy, I'm making these videos for science. Honest. My stats have not been the same since 2020. That was an exceptional year for YouTubers, back when people found themselves stuck at home looking for things to do, and what they chose to do was to view my YouTube content. The stats plummeted soon after, and have remained low ever since. But at least my stats appear to be wildly thrashing about in the years that followed. 2024, on the other hand, sees stats that are so settled that they may as well be dead. The Klik Empire doesn't appear to have much kick to it anymore, and obviously, I believe I can get it back. I think 2025 could be the year that my comeback starts, but I'd rather show that through figures than words. Now I realise I have nothing to show for it just yet, my future success will have to start today. So the most positive thing I can say about the performance of my channels in the 4 quarters of 2024 is, at least they've been consistent. I already thought my subscriber counts had flatlined, yet they've continued to flatline even more this year. 3kliksphilip gained and lost almost 35,000 subscribers over the year, resulting in an increase of 200 in the whole of 2024. He used to grow by more than that a day. 2kliksphilip has done a little bit better, still growing by over 7,000 subscribers this year, which is better than nothing, but my rate of subscriber growth has shrunk. Only slightly fewer people have opted to unsubscribe to my channels, yes, but significantly fewer new subscribers have decided to subscribe. My content is stale, and simply isn't drawing in the new crowds like it used to. This isn't a problem for existing viewers, and I'm very appreciative of all of you, but it doesn't bode well for the future. Diving into the monthly viewing figures for the last 3 years, my channels have been everywhere. When I focus on one, the other channel suffers, leading to wild fluctuations between the two, which are sort of linked. In 2024 though, I haven't really focused on either channel. I'm just ticking along with both, doing the bare minimum, and in this state, 2kliks and 3kliks are both now pretty much neck and neck in terms of view count. I am now split equally between the channels, which isn't a great place to be. I'm unsure of which is now my main channel. I mean, obviously 3kliksphilip is still a lot bigger in terms of subscriber count and view count per video released, but this is the smallest he's been in a decade, and is this just a temporary lull, or will CS2 bounce back in later years, and will 3kliksphilip even ride that trend back upwards if it does happen? If we focus on 2024, 3kliksphilip's view count ruled for the first half, dominant, but then there's this weird spike on 2kliksphilip. What's this? So this is where we say goodbye to the analysis again, and onto my own experiences of this year. And let me tell you about this one magical moment of 2024, where all the stars aligned and I was reminded of the good old days, where my content would randomly do well, outperforming my wildest expectations. In the old days, this would be maybe 1 in 3 videos that I released. These days, it's 3 videos in the space of 2 years. And all those 3 videos happen to be released back to back. What are the chances? It started in July over on the 2kliksphilip channel, where the algorithm just randomly decided to bless me, making a random tech video of mine super popular. I released another random tech video about another topic, and that one became even more popular. At this point I was like, I wonder if something's going on here. So I just tossed something together in a couple of hours, threw it out there, and this became by far the most popular video that I made this year. And then, just as abruptly as it had all started, my success ended, and I was back to getting the same 50 to 100,000 views per video again. Of course, it's probably just that these 3 videos happen to be the best ones I've made in years. Maybe, I mean, how else can you explain it? It was just nice that it happened. I will say though, what with 3 kliksphilip's most successful video of the year being about a cheater getting banned and 2 kliksphilip's being about an AI presentation going wrong, people love drama. Current drama. Clickbait. It's seen as a dirty word, but it's what you click on. It's what you want. And if it isn't, then just go click on the rest of my videos that aren't clickbaity in the slightest. Smash their like button, leave a kind comment. See, you're not going to. Why not? Because it's not clickbait. I rest my case. Meanwhile, the situation over on 3 kliksphilip's channel has been a bit different, where he's really running into diminishing returns with his content. The easy pickings are gone. So 3 kliksphilip now spends days or weeks analysing something super particular, constructing a long and in-depth video about something where he may or may not have found something interesting about it. And all this work will get him 100,000 views. Alternatively, he can just toss something together in a few hours and get 100,000 views. Maybe slightly less, but per hour of work it's still a stonking great success. So this happened near the very end of the year. With the year coming to a close, I had a few hours to spare, and I churned out a few quick videos in that time to get my video count up, and it was a win-win-win for the Klik Empire. And again, it harkened back to the old days, back when I would start on a video in the morning and be done in time for dinner. These days, when undertaking the same scale of project, I feel I'm being lazy. I'm so used to undertaking a new project that I won't be finished with for at least a week, and it does demotivate me because it feels like so much work every time I start on a new video. So creating smaller videos like this was a real breath of fresh air. Really did me good. When I start on a shorter video these days, I worry it's just going to be a pointless 30 seconds of content, but then it becomes 2.5 minutes and is a perfectly presentable video with its own feel, its own purpose, and jokes contained within, capturing the game in a snapshot right now. If I don't cover now, will never be covered again. So yeah, all this did wonders for my mental state, plus my view count on YouTube, and it made me feel like I was capable of creating lots of content again, like I used to in the good old days. It's like I've got so used to maximum effort for minimum reward, so expect a lot more short videos just capturing something interesting or amusing about the game in 2025. In conclusion, 2024's Klik Empire's stats makes for somber analysis. How much further can my stats drop before I might as well give up and move on? On paper, I've got nothing much to be happy about. Yet, I'm rather excited. Because if 2023 was yet another limbo year for the Klik Empire, then 2024 was the great reset. Everything about my life is different now. It has been a year of wild highs and lows. And if I can keep my channels ticking over during all of this, then they can really weather any storm within my life. And now it's mostly over, I really do feel like anything is possible. Because look at these stats. Yeah, the year sucked. But YouTubing wasn't my life in 2024, whereas it kind of was in previous years, and hopefully will be again in future years. I felt like change has been needed for a long time, far longer than just this year, but only now have I felt the motivation to actually do something about it. 2024 was better in other ways too. I didn't take all the criticism I received online to heart so much, because it wasn't my life, and when people are continually saying abusive, nasty things online, it actually helps when it's all drowned out by people doing it in my reality. My online abuse is just an irritating background buzz that is actually quite easy to get rid of. I can just block them and move on, which I've got a lot better at doing in this last year. You know the dead internet theory, the idea that eventually the internet will just be filled with AI-generated grey goo everywhere. I actually don't mind it too much. I noticed it when Thorin or Rich Lewis would try to stir drama about me. A lot of their supporters would comment in the exact same style and from accounts that were resurrected from the dead or from wholly unrelated subreddits simply to leap into the current drama. And I'm not suggesting they're using AI or bot armies here. I suspect they probably have about 30 fake accounts that they maintain so that they can keep their lonely little selves and silly opinions company online. It's helped me to accept the hate that I do receive, knowing that it's probably from far fewer real people than it feels when you're on the receiving end of it. I accept I cannot change echo chambers online. I have to find peace knowing that the assumptions made about my person are about as wrong as you'd expect from somebody trying to do detective work with 80% of the pieces missing. The ironic thing is, I always thought my YouTubing wouldn't last, and yet it's still here as I've come crawling back to it after having taken a crazy year off. It's almost like in the last few weeks of December, my YouTubing all sort of came together again, and I remembered how to YouTube. My previous year's analyses mentioned wanting to distance myself from my YouTubing channels, but having now taken what I'll describe as a year-long holiday, I think I'm rebooted, recovered, and I'm ready to get back in with fresh strategies and ideas to play the YouTubing game again. If I was a smart man, I would speedrun making about 50 short videos over the course of January and then schedule them out to be released over the course of the whole year. A lot of the content I make needs to be out ASAP, but that's cool. Just make short, easy content that doesn't need to be out ASAP, and it will free my time up for the rest of the year to work on reactionary content that tends to do a lot better with the algorithms anyway. The key to my success in 2025 is staring me right in the face, and I'm still umming and ahhing over whether I should do it or whether I should just stick to my tried and tested approach of super big, long, complicated projects every week or so with hit or miss results. It really doesn't make sense. I need to change my mindset. So it's clear to me that I have lost my way. I should just abandon my current plans, delete all my half-finished videos, even the ones I really want to make but just never get around to it, and to start afresh with a clean desktop, empty hard drives, and return to how I used to make videos 10 years ago. The quality may be lower, the themes sillier, but I was so much happier and less burdened. And I think a shorter development schedule will benefit me more in this age of breaking news and clickbait and drama. Looking at the videos recommended to me on YouTube this year, it's striking how good the quality has become. Many of the videos that YouTube recommends to me are the Holy Trinity. They're high in quality, long in duration, and cover clever and fresh topics that would genuinely take a very long time to come up with and to analyse. Competition on YouTube these days is fierce. But there's also a lot of clickbait, which typically imitates one of these super successful, well-made videos. It's an easy way to get 1 million views on YouTube. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to tackle these kind of hive mind topics. I'm curious to experiment with different lengths of videos, because the length of the content I make falls down an awkward crack where it's longer than short videos are, but shorter than long videos. And I wonder how successful kliksphilip's videos could be if I picked topics that could scale up to an hour or so in length. It's just I haven't found any topics which require that. Equally, I've neglected the short videos this year because I hate them so much. My view count from short releases has pretty much dropped to 0. But I would like to get into the habit of getting a few shorts from every long video I make again, just to serve as extra feelers online to draw people to my channel. I'm not going to make subscriber predictions about 2025, I'm not going to make many predictions at all. The start of the year is too soon to make predictions about it. It tends to take a few weeks for me to reshuffle all my ideas and to set out on a new strategy, and I do believe that in a few months' time I'll have a better idea of my plans going forward, and the flavour that 2025 will eventually adopt. So hopefully you'll never see another Klik Empire analysis like this one. It has been a very unusual year, and I am excited for the future. Thank you for listening.